So if you see my previous video about hair porosity, then you know this video is going to be all about the different types of hair porosity. But today, this specific video will be about high hair porosity and what you can do to get it to a medium porosity, and how you know if you have high porosity, what oils and what methods you can use to figure out how to help your high porosity hair thrive. Welcome to my channel. My name is arabiamiyari and I am glad to see you here. This video today is going to be all about high hair porosity and the things you can do to get your high hair porosity to grow. If you haven't seen my previous video on hair porosity and why you should know your hair porosity, then you should watch that video first and then come to this video, so you can get a little in-depth of porosity, how porosity works, if medium, low, high porosity is good for your hair, and all that good stuff. So go over to that video, go ahead and watch it. I'll put it up in the cards right there so you can watch that video. But if you are a returning A1 Day One, welcome to this channel. Welcome back, I should say. And yes, we are in a new environment. Yes, this time I have my hair down because, yeah, let me tell you. Yeah, so my hair's down today. Yeah, so we're at Bay House, and so, you know, that's a little background. Don't ignore the background. Ignore the background. But yeah, so welcome to all my high porosity babes, because I'm pretty sure if you're at this video, you have high porosity hair and you're trying to figure out what are some different things you can do, some techniques that you can do, and just basically how to help your high porosity hair thrive, or how to transition your high porosity hair to a low porosity hair. So let's get into this video. So of course, as you guys know, I have my tablet because this is where my notes are at, and you guys do know that I get off track. We have 4 topics that we are going to get on, or that we're going to touch with high hair porosity. So the first topic is, what is high porosity? How do you know you have high porosity? The next topic we're going to be talking about is how to deal with high porosity hair type. The next topic, which is the third topic, is going to be sealing oils. The fourth topic that we're going to get to is what method is best. All right, so high hair porosity. So high hair porosity looks like this. And basically with high hair porosity, that means high hair porosity has the most damage to the hair. And I don't mean damage as in a bad way or a good way, if that makes sense, because sometimes people can have damaged hair, but their damaged hair can consist of just split ends, so they just need to trim their ends. With high porosity hair, when you have damaged hair, for high porosity, it basically means that you're putting too much heat on your hair. You're putting too much color in your hair, which you can color your hair with bleach or color your hair without bleach. And the third one is you have too many chemicals in your hair. So I know some of you probably like, well, if you have chemicals in your hair, you're not natural anymore. That can be true to a sense, but a lot of people used to, when they was transitioning, put a texturizer in their hair. Texturizer is not considered relaxing your hair. It's considered relaxing, but it's not relaxing your hair. So when you put a texturizer in your hair, you're still somewhat natural, but you're not fully natural. So if you put a lot of chemicals in your hair, a lot of color in your hair, you use a lot of heat methods to your hair, such as your flat iron, your hot comb, your blow dryer, or any other heating methods that you put to your hair every wash day or every other wash day, that is considering damaging your hair. Now I know some of you are probably like, well, if I use a heat protectant on my hair, it's not damaging my hair. You're correct. It's not damaging your hair too much, but it's still causing a damage effect to your hair because you're constantly putting heat on your hair, which you're constantly putting heat on those cuticles, which are your hair shaft. Putting it on your hair shaft, which is close to your hair cuticles near your root, which constantly doing that every week or every other week or every month can cause damage to the hair shaft as well as the hair cuticles because it's a constant thing. Although on the good side, if you're taking care of your hair how you're supposed to and you're treating your hair proper and you're doing the proper steps, keeping it moisturized, you can do those things, but your hair will still be high porosity. So if you look at my last video, I've also mentioned that having high porosity, low porosity, or medium porosity, it can't be good or bad. So you can have high porosity and have healthy hair, but you can also have high porosity and have damaging hair. So that's why I said in the beginning of this video that it can be damaging, but it also cannot be damaging. So if you're taking care of your hair how you're supposed to, you know your hair, and you know the fact that your hair is high porosity, and you're doing the steps to manage your high porosity hair while doing your other methods, as in not relaxing it, as in putting heat to it and putting color to it all the time, then your hair, you know, is high porosity. You know what to do, so therefore your hair is in a healthy state of being high porosity. So high porosity tends to be the most driest hair, and the reason that is because you're putting a lot of chemicals to your hair, heat and damage. Well, you're putting a lot of heat and chemicals to your hair a lot, so that's why it tends to be the most driest. And any moisture that you put into your hair, it locks it in and it stays in, and it stays in to the point where if you keep putting moisture in your hair, it weighs your hair down. It heavies, put that heavy weight onto your hair. So sometimes most people who have high porosity hair, their hair may be weighed down. That's why it locks in the moisture and it keeps in the moisture. And every moisture that you put into your hair, everything that's moisturizing to your hair that you put into your hair, it just keeps it in there because it doesn't know the next time that it's going to receive some moisture. Because let's be real, people who have hair high porosity, you sometimes forget to oil your hair, or you sometimes forget to even moisturize your hair, especially when it's in a protective style. When it's in a protective style and you have high porosity hair, your main focus is to get leave-in conditioner, that is a spray, as well as oil, and oil your hair down twice a day. So that is very important because it's the driest of the bundle, which it's the driest of low and medium porosity, and it just sucks up so much moisture because it's keeping it in and it's sucking it up. So that's why it's constantly bringing in moisture. That's why it's constantly trapping in moisture, is because it's sucking that moisture in and just keeping it in. So that's why you want to constantly moisturize your hair with leave-in conditioner, which if you have a protective style, the spray leave-in conditioner is best. But if you do not have a protective style, as in like extra hair added, the spray is the best. But if you have a protective style, as in your twist outs and all that, the good twist outs, your braid outs, or just you twist in your natural hair, the cream leave-in conditioner is the best to have. So another thing about high porosity that you want to know is that high porosity, your cuticles are open. So that's why you can receive a lot of moisture, because your cuticles are always open. And as I stated last time, your cuticles are always open is because your hair doesn't know when it's going to receive its next moisture. So any moisture that you do put on your hair, it's going to soak that moisture in and trap it. And just continuing on, So just remember, as a person who have high porosity hair, your cuticles are always open. So be mindful of what you're putting on your hair, what you are using to moisturize your hair, and how often you moisturize your hair. Because if you don't like that limp look in your hair and you're constantly putting moisture on your hair, that's because your cuticles are open. And with high porosity hair, your hair is going to put limp, especially if you put too much of something on your hair, too much conditioner, too much leave-in conditioner, too many oils, or too much oils, or not the right kind of oils on your hair. Your hair is going to be looking limp, your oils are going to run down, and it's going to be a minute, well, not a minute, but it's going to be about an hour for your hair to revert to what you want it to be, because I can guarantee you that your hair cuticles will eat up that moisture real quick. So just be mindful of how much product you put on your hair, because it can cause your hair to become limp because your cuticles are open. Alright, so let's talk about how to deal with high porosity hair. So when you're dealing with high porosity hair, you want to use things like mid butters. You want to use you want to use hydrating shampoo, so shampoo that has moisture inside of it. And I'm pretty sure you guys seen hydrating shampoos, or shampoos that are just hydrating to the scalp, not necessarily clarifying shampoos. You don't want to use any clarifying shampoos. Always moisturize shampoos. And you want to use mid-heavy oils and butters. So we'll get into the mid-heavy oils, which are called sealing oils. But when you have high porosity hair, you want that extraness, okay? You want that extra butter, because the hair needs moisture. As I stated before, high porosity hair is the driest hair. So you want to have mid-heavy butters. You don't want to have heavy butters, because you don't want your hair to over moisturize, which will cause that limp look. So you want butters that are rich in moisture, rich and creamy, because that is going to be best for your hair, as well as those sealing oils. If you have high porosity hair, you want to use mid to heavy oils, mid to heavy butters, and the conditioner has to be thick. You want a thick consistency conditioner that is going to moisturize your hair, as well as a shampoo. You want a moisturizer shampoo because your hair is dry, so you want the moisture to stay in. You don't want a clarifying shampoo because that strips the moisture. So technically you guys would do perfect with a co-wash as well, if you want to use a co-wash to co-wash your hair. Or you can use a clarifying shampoo to strip most of the moisture out of your hair, but then follow up with a co-wash and then follow up with a conditioner. Or you can also use a clarifying shampoo once a month, but wash your hair with a co-wash, since it's still a co-wash, and use that as your shampoo, because co-washes are great for high porosity hair, I should say, because you're adding that moisture and the hair will love you for that. So when you are if you have high porosity hair, know that you do not want to use clarifying shampoo until the end of the month, or however, once a month is good for clarifying shampoo. So let's talk about the method. So the method that you want to use when you're dealing with high porosity hair is the LOC method. So this is the LOC method. So the LOC method is basically liquid, oil, and cream. Okay, so say you're doing a twist out with your hair. So most people use water. I would suggest, if you have high porosity hair, use aloe vera juice, because that also brings moisture. But you can also do a mixture of water and aloe vera juice, it doesn't matter. But your liquid will be either or, and your oil will be a sealing oil. So after you spritz your hair down with water, you want to seal in that moisture. So you sealing in that moisture with oil. Oil is a sealant, okay? And well, you have different oils, but since you are high porosity, you're basically using a sealant oil. So you'll be using a sealant oil to seal, to lock in that water that's on the hair shaft, or the aloe vera that's on the hair shaft. And then after you seal it with the oil, you want to use a cream, which would be a leave-in conditioner, or a twisting souffle, or a defined twisting gel. Well, a defined twist, and that will be perfect. Some people use leave-in conditioner and then use the twisting gel, whichever one your hair prefers. But since you have high porosity hair, you will be fine with just using a twisting souffle or a twisting butter on your hair. You guys don't necessarily need gel. You can use gel to define your hair if you would like to, but the lock method is the perfect method for you guys. Is using a liquid, a oil, and a cream to seal in everything, and your hair will be amazing. It leaves that great moisture. You will feel the softness of your hair, and your hair will thank you. Your hair will thank you. Also, you want to make sure your hair has protein and the pH balance is perfect on your hair. I will talk about pH balance of the hair in another video, but you want to make sure that your hair has protein in it, and enough protein. So acidic wash will be good, which is the apple cider vinegar wash will be perfect for your hair. And you only have to do that twice a year, as well as a protein treatment, and you will have to do it twice a year. But it depends on your hair. So if you feel like your hair needs more protein, do a protein treatment, or have somebody do a protein treatment for you professionally. Or you can do the apple cider vinegar wash, and I plan on doing that video for you guys so I can show you guys. But you'll want to do the apple cider vinegar wash, and that also helps balance your pH of your hair. When you are dealing with high porosity hair, you're most likely dealing with damaged or treated hair. So you want to make sure that if you have color on your hair, that your color stay moisturized. And I know if you've seen color videos on natural hair, they always tell you that make sure your hair is moisturized. Moisturization, if that's a word, keeping your hair moisture is always the key to having colored hair. If your hair is not colored and you have a lot of heat to your hair, or you do a lot of heat to your hair, heat protectants are best for your hair. And just keeping your scalp oiled and keeping your hair shaft oil is good as well. If you do have color in your hair and you don't if you don't moisturize your hair daily, you might want to start moisturizing your hair daily, because you feel like every time you comb your hair is falling out or anything like that. You want to make sure you start adding some kind of conditioner to leave-in conditioner to your hair and oil to your scalp. Do that for a month straight and see how your hair will revert back. As well as if you are getting shedding and you have color to your hair, you might want to make sure your ends are trimmed, or make sure you don't need a trimming, and just see how dry your hair is. Because if your hair is dry and brittle, you might want to go ahead and chop some of your hair off. Or before you do that, if you don't want to do that, you want to go ahead and start doing a maximum hydration method, which I have a video of that. You want to do something like that to maximize the moisture to your hair, to bring back moisture to your scalp. Those sealant oils are rich, heavy, and they're great for high porosity hair, because high porosity hair is dry. You want something to seal in those cuticles, because at the end of the day, you want your cuticles to become sealed. So you want them to close and not remain open. You want them to kind of be like opened and closed. So you don't want them to take too much moisture to where it dries out your hair and make your hair limp, to where you're over moisturizing your hair. And that is the thing when you over moisturize your hair. Like, you don't have to do it all the time. That's why knowing your hair, knowing what products works for your hair is the best way. So there are certain sealing oils that you can use for high porosity hair. So of course, everybody know the main sealing oil is jojoba oil, Jamaican black castor oil, grapeseed oil, and tea tree oil. Now these are all, there are plenty of sealing oils out there. These are just the main 4 that I like, the main 4 that most people use. A lot of people don't really know about tea tree oil being a sealant oil, or grapeseed oil by that, but I just wanted to add it 2 essential oils in there, just in case you may want essential oils. But these are some great sealing oils for high porosity hair. I know grapeseed oil, it is a little on the light side. Grapeseed oil can be good for high porosity and low porosity because it is a lightweight oil, but it is a great sealant oil, and it seals in the moisture, and it adds extreme moisture to your hair. It's good for low porosity because it's a lightweight oil, so it's not going to be too oily, it's not going to be too heavy on your hair. But for moisturized, it is a great essential oil for moisturized hair. It'll moisturize your hair very good. So last but not least, if you are one of those girls or one of those curly heads, or one of those kinky curly girls or males that have high porosity hair, and you're just now seeing this video and your hair is like to the point where it is damaged, then it is time to cut it off. Now if it is a point where you can catch your hair on time for high porosity, you can catch it on time and heal your hair cuticles from becoming permanently damaged. But if you're one of those ones that are transitioning, because I've noticed a lot of people who are transitioning ends up having high porosity hair and not even know it. But if you're transitioning and you're just like, oh, I just want to cut it off piece by piece, which is good, you can cut it off piece by piece, but just know that if you have high porosity hair, you haven't been taking care of your hair, you're transitioning from relaxing to natural, then it is time for you to go ahead and big chop. That is the reason why most people do a big chop, because they realize that, hey, I have high porosity hair, or they realize that their hair is just too dry and they don't know how to revert it back, and everything that they do, their hair just seems dry. And that is because with high porosity hair, if you're not taking care of it the right way, your cuticles can become permanently damaged, and it is no way for your hair to come back as what your hair is now. So you would just have to cut it off and start over again. So I know a lot of people don't want to do the big chop, but when you have high porosity hair and your cuticles are permanently damaged, it is the best thing to do a big chop, because that way you can start over. You can figure out your hair, what your hair likes, what your hair don't like, what your hair needs for your hair to grow thriving. But once you do a big chop and you realize your hair and you start doing things to help out your hair, to help out your porosity, then your hair can go up and down from high to low to medium. But when you are doing a big chop, that gives you time to figure out, oh, okay, this is what my hair likes, this is what my hair doesn't like, this is what makes my hair dry, this is what makes my hair feel good. And then sometimes your hair, that process that you're doing it can get to a point where your hair doesn't like that anymore, and it transitions, and you just figure out, okay, what your hair don't like and what it does like all over again. So just know that if you don't get your hair in time, if you're not taking care of your hair, or if you're transitioning, 9 times out of 10, I don't want to say 9 times out of 10, but 7 times out of 10, your cuticles are permanently damaged. So it is time for you to do that big chop. So you guys, I hope you understand this video. I hope you understand high porosity more. In the description below, I will put some brands in the description on who have good porosity, like brands that are great for high porosity hair. I will put the link in the description below of the shampoos, the conditioners, the leave-in conditioners, even the oils. So I'll put that in there. Make sure you go look in that description, especially if you are trying to figure out what is going to be right for your hair, and if you figured out if you have high porosity hair. And I didn't tell you guys how you figure it out, but if you go to my last video, which is Hair Porosity 101, that most definitely tells you how you can figure out which porosity, that if you have high porosity, low porosity, or medium porosity. But for this video, I'm strictly focusing on high porosity hair, so the products down below will be strictly for high porosity. So go in the description, look at those products. Hope that helped you guys. Please make sure you follow me on all of my social media down below. Make sure you press that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can get notified on when I post some more tips and tricks for you and some hair videos for you, because those are coming on the way. Trust me, I know. I wanted to do this series for you guys because I know a lot of people, when they're transitioning, they don't know anything about natural hair, or they know a little bit about natural hair and they want to make sure they're doing the right thing before they transition to natural hair, or just stay where they're at, because some people like relaxing and there's nothing wrong with that. So make sure you push that notification bell and become part of the A1 Day 1 team. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it had you realize high porosity hair is neither good or bad. If you take care of your hair and know your hair will thrive. So make sure, if you don't have any products and you have high porosity hair and you want to save your hair, please, please, please go into that description box below. Look at those products, because I'm putting everything in there. Different brands, different products, all of that. And it should help your hair. Matter of fact, it will help your hair, okay? So on that, I will see you guys in my next video.